So then I need to go live on the other one. Like this. All right. I think we are officially live on all platforms. What is up, my single Twitch viewer? How's it going? Are you someone I know? What up, my single YouTube viewer? How's it going? I have made a lot of progress with C++ in our gaming project, and with that, I have decided to scrap it all, and our game will now be fully in Godot script. Because it turns out all that work I put into C++ was work I was not putting into making a game. So now it's time to just accept the Godot overlords, welcome them gratefully into my life, and start writing Godot scripts immediately. The plus side is, and this is a pretty big plus side, and a core reason to why I did this, is if we hop over to my GitHub page, our software pipelines for Godot took, let's see, 42 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. These export jobs were all ran in parallel, so that's just 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, 42, and then to build the Docker container the first time, after that, that'll take like 5 seconds. So really, it took about 2 minutes, 42 seconds to verify the Godot scripts were good, formatted, and that they can produce an executable. Prior to that, I wonder if I can see a history here. When we were doing C++, and you can kind of see like all this stuff that I was doing. Let's take a look at this one. Does this give an idea? Yeah. So just one job on Windows took 44 minutes and 7 seconds. Now, granted, that's because we had to build a bunch of dependencies, but that's also part of the issue, right? Is all these dependencies I had to build to make sure it worked with all my compiler flags and settings, and then maintaining it so that the next time this job ran would go a lot quicker. That was just extra time I had to spend maintaining these pipelines versus writing code. So I have moved back to pure GD script so that I can focus on building this game, and we will go from there. Now the problem is I am such C++ coded because I've been doing this for 20 years that I have ways I go about solving problems and thinking about how I want to handle memory, and Godot's like, no, you're going to do it the Godot way. Out, my cat is biting me. All right, cat. You want to say hi to the stream? Hmm? You have food. Ridiculous. So, at the root of all of this, we have the Briarthorn script, which is going to maintain any databases that's going to store any of our, textures, audio, any kind of visuals, anything that we only need to load once and then just look up. We're going to have access to these databases. Models. This is effectively going to be our array of data that the game is going to operate on. That way we aren't going out into Godot's scene tree to collect visual nodes to do all this work. We just have these arrays of data to process all this work. And then we have systems that act on these models to perform those operations. So all that is similar-ish to how I was doing it before with C++, but trying to use Godot to accomplish similar things. So I kind of want to, for this stream, just kind of go through this and make sure everything is kosher. I'm pretty sure the game works just like it did before. Except my cursor isn't moving. But that's okay, because I don't know if we actually want a cursor at this point. I am starting to lean towards making this game a what do you call it? A roguelite? Is it roguelite or rogue-like? I should probably know that if I'm going to make a game. Is it rogue-like or... Oh, someone else has already asked this. All right, good. I'm glad it's not me. Rogue-likes are traditional turn-based and grid-based games with strict permadeath and no meta progression, mimicking the 1980 game Rogue. Roguelites are modern, often action-oriented, and feature meta progression. Okay, that's what I want. I want a roguelite with a T, not a K. Today I learned. Because I definitely did not know there was a difference. But yeah, I'm thinking this eventually becomes like waves of enemies. You defeat enough of them, maybe you collect items, or... And I want to make the fights interesting. It's not just going to be shooting, right? It's like, in the middle of combat, there's probably going to be, I hope, there's going to be some kind of puzzle or situation you have to figure out how to resolve. It's not necessarily just going to be run and gun. Unless you decide to just build a character that way, I think. And so then it becomes more like mission-oriented. How many missions can you complete? How far can you get kind of thing. You know, your typical roguelike. But from the situation display of a aircraft radar. Okay, so we have tracks popping up, so that's working. So most of this is working, so I just want to make sure that my structure, my organization, all that is somewhat coherent. So we have a data folder where we are storing all of our data definitions. This will be kind of what our components were in C++. I have since learned that these resource objects are reference counted pointers under the hood. I was hoping to do more tightly packed arrays for all this stuff, but at least today Godot doesn't support the concept of like a struct, just a, you know, a sequential array of data. We have our entity, so the entity is going to be like the core type. Like everything that is displayed is probably going to be an entity. So we're talking like missiles, weapons, aircraft, so on and so forth. We have data lists. I'm not sold on this. So we have this data list idea where you'll have just a list of data, which is very similar to model. So I'm not sure what to do about that, but I did want to distinguish because... Oh, I got something on my leg. What is that? Like, if we look at a model, they're sort of similar. Except the model uses a dictionary because we're wanting to map instances to the elements in the model. That way, like, visual nodes can kind of keep track of a reference, or at least the ID of what's in the model, so they can refer back to it and get the state from it. I'm also torn between figuring out if I want to do a read-only data model where you still have to like get the values off of it versus just give me everything you got, and or using like the command API. Maybe that's where I start, is getting that cleaned up and figured out. Yeah, I definitely had something on my leg. I don't know what that is. Dirt, I guess. Model entities. I don't like this either. This is supposed to get like the list of entities, but it's converting it to an array. And it's calling data.values. What does .values return? .values returns an array. It returns a list of values in this dictionary. So I don't know why this is happening. Why does this not work? Shouldn't this just work? let's try it. Hey, I don't have to compile anymore. This is C++. So if I just do and hit play, ooh, trying to return an array of type array where expected return type is array data entity. What? Oh, is it because I don't specify what the data type of the dictionary is going to be? How would I do that? Is there a way to do that? Hmm. Oh, I could do this. Well, that would be cool. So I want integer. Let's try that. So wait, I already forgot. Nope, I remember. So it goes like integer, comma, data entity? Question mark? Does that work? Oh, let's go. I'm a freaking genius. All right. I gotta pause right here for a sec. My cat is just non-stop. Hang on. Where are you, Trill? Hang on. What are you doing? Hmm? Not until you show everyone else what you're doing. Yeah. Look at that. This is a twerp. This is the face of a twerp. Get to know him. Recognize him. Be happy for him. But also understand he is a twerp. Aren't you? Yeah, you're a twerp. Can you say hi to the mic? No. If I can get him to start purring, he gets really loud. You doing, huh? Huh? There you go. Alright, let me go make sure he has food. Come on, buddy. Probably just have to walk into the food. Yeah, I just had to walk him to the food. That figures. Such a cat. I forgot I ordered groceries. I got a little bit of time before I have to grab them. Okay, so that worked, and that's what I need to do. We have our project set up. I don't remember where I did this. Godot has options for treating warnings. Is this it? No, that's animations. Yeah. Godot has a bunch of warnings set up in the editor where it's like most of them are treated as warnings. In our project, we treat everything as errors for the most part. Inferred declaration is so we can do var x colon equals. I'm okay with because that's similar to how we use auto in C++. Return value discarded. It seems idiomatic Godot to establish a connection with like a signal or slot and then not handle the return value. I don't know if that's actually what we should be doing, but that's why that's being ignored. But everything else we have set to an error. And then in our pipelines, we do like a headless run to import the script files real quick and verify like all of the stuff is good. So we don't I say we, but I'm the one who is forcing this. But I don't play around when it comes to like coding style and standards, making sure everyone is adhering to the same thing. Let's see here. So model entities, we are explicit with our type, which allows me to do this, so that's good. Let's take a look at cursor. We'll do the same thing. This will be an integer. Data cursor. I also don't like having comments on this side of my code. If we need comments, we put it above. The reason I'm cleaning some of this up is I did have some LLMs help me essentially do a bunch of copying and pasting of my C++ logic into Godot script, so I didn't have to like spend hours and hours refactoring. Which is why I'm wanting to go through this to make sure everything is kosher. We have a data portal. That looks good. All that looks good. What is this? Get portals should just return the array. Cool. What is this? Get active. I wonder what the best way to handle this is. I mean, we're probably not going to have too many portals in the game for it to really matter, but I could, like, anytime a portal gets set to active or not, I could establish, like, keep a reference to which is active and just return it versus iterating over it every time. I'll leave it alone for now. Get active. Yeah, I'll leave that alone for now. So we have currently only have 3 data models, which does that make sense? That probably makes sense because I've rolled a bunch of it under data entity. I'm trying to decide if this actually needs to be data models or not, like separate data models versus having them on an entity. Because I'm just like, from a composition perspective, we could still get away with just treating entities as IDs. I'll stress about it later. I wanna make sure everything else looks good here. All right, so we have cursor, data engine, data kinematics, data lists, portal. It's just a Boolean. Field of view, kinematics, that looks good. I think all of this is pretty straightforward. Oh, data type. So we have kind, domain, side, but we don't have category. So that didn't get copied over correctly, I don't think. Because we're gonna need. Does Godot have union types? Are you back already? What? I fed you. I showed you there was food. What? Swear. Freaking cats. Alright. I'm gonna look up a previous commit to see how I had the category code implemented. How do you get to... Is it commits? I just need a previous commit. Oh, nope, that's not what I want. All right, let's do a previous branch. Dang it. I want to look at the code. There we go. All right. So we had apparently I didn't have everything. copied over. I already forgot what I was doing. Oh, I remember. All right, so we have categories that are different based on what your kind, domain, and I think just kind and domain actually. So category vehicle ground. So if you're a vehicle on the ground, you could be like a car, a truck, a train, you know, that kind of thing. If you're a vehicle in the air, you're a fighter, a bomber, a drone. If you're a weapon in the air, you could be a missile, a guided missile, a bomb, a guided bomb, a bullet. Category living ground. You could be living on the ground. That could be like a human, a plant, an insect. Ooh. What about living air? I feel like bird would go in living air. And I don't know if there's a better way to do this, and with Godot, this might change, but I was basically using a union to store the category value. So what I might try and do, see if an LLM has anything to say. Maybe there's a design pattern here I'm not familiar with. So what I'll do, I'll paste my original solution in, and then I'll be like, hey, I need to implement categories into the data type as enumerations, but I'm open to other solutions if one exists that doesn't require defining separate enumerations for each kind and domain pair. Because, and I've ran into this in the past, but the issue is as soon as I implement another enum for domain or kind, I now have that many more combinations I have to address with category. And I don't know. I don't know if I have a better solution other than like maybe a bit mask or something. You compose all the different types. Yeah, we might. Okay, let me look at how data type is used elsewhere to ensure implementation fits. Does Godot have a union type? Ooh, looks like someone wants it. Does I wonder if does C sharp fix all these issues? If I started using the C sharp scripting language for Godot, would I get access to all the stuff I've been wanting, like read only or const functions, const types, unions? Is that what I need to do? Refactor my code again? Is that what I need to do? Who's been there? Um, Let me see. Godot, C sharp, union type. There's no native union type syntax. Instead, you must use Godot's built-in variant. Okay. It's probably the same limitations then. If Godot's backend doesn't support it, then it's just not going to happen. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, that's fair. You just use one enum to define all the combinations. That's okay. Okay. We have a category. None. Oh, well, this is probably what we have to do since Godot doesn't have a union type. So that makes sense. So vehicle ground, you could have a car, a truck, a train. These are just examples, really. Who knows if we'll ever have car, trucks, or trains in this game. Fighter, bomber, drone, more likely. Missile, guided missile, at least a guided missile. Human, plant, insect, bird. It would be kind of messed up to have birds flying around in this. Something isn't liked. The local function parameter kind is shadowing an already declared variable at line 65. What? Is this not in a function? Is this a real... Can you do static functions in Godot? I don't think I knew that. Godot static functions. In Godot, static functions are methods that belong to the class itself. Oh, cool. I did not know. So it doesn't like that I have a function with a parameter and then a variable in my class with the same parameter. I'm hoping that's just a, I'm going to reload Godot just in case. That seems insane to me. What? Shadowing an already declared variable at line 65. Is it because I don't have 2 lines here? Why would that affect that? Well, that's dumb. Let's do, I guess, K, D, C, K, D, C. Okay. All right, so to make a category, you are given... Wait, what? What's this doing? So it creates a list of all valid categories for this combination pair. Oh, man. I wonder if Godot optimizes that, or if it has to, like, allocate something every time this is called. Because otherwise, I probably need to do that myself. So this kind of defeats the purpose, then, of... Hi, cat. What do you want? You hear me talking? Huh? You hear me talking? I'm sorry. Ow, don't bite me. Yeah, because of this... It looks like... Does Godot let you do, like... Oh, man. Can I do something like category dot... category dot. Is it just the enums, or can I like? Yeah, it has a get. Can I use a get? What does get do? Too few arguments for get, but what is it? Takes a variant key. Whoops, I went too far. Returns the corresponding value for the given key. If the key does not exist, returns default or null. I want to do like an index. Is it values and then I index? Is that how that works? Okay, that's how that works. Okay, yeah, so now I'm thinking instead of doing... I just don't know enough about Godot. I almost want to store these in something so that they don't have to keep getting reconstructed. And this also becomes a pain to add more later. I would prefer to just be like, hey, add it to a category and call it a day. So if this becomes category vehicle ground, for instance, do we really use -1 as none? Is that like how enums work? Why would I do that? I don't know if I want that. So then this is ground. Enum category vehicle. Oh, but if I don't have, we don't have union types. Dang it. Dang it. The limitations. I gotta get creative. Okay, so this will remain category. And it probably did -1 then, so that we could start at 0 for valid values, which is why they did that. So valid values are 0. So that we could do this little thing here. And this grabs a subset of these. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know what to do. I don't like this API. I think my groceries are not quite here. My groceries are not here yet. Okay. Oh, let's see. I have to do this because there are no union types. I don't even know what type this is. Array. Okay, so I need to make category arrays. That's what I need to do then. So I need a var so I do something like this. This becomes category vehicle ground. Category vehicle ground. Did I do that wrong? Oh, it's static. Dang it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I do this? Does that automatically make it const? Can I? Is there static const in Godot? There's a const. Okay. Oh. Expected function or var after static. Oh, what? Looks like there's not constant globals. God, everything about this hurts my heart. Dang it, man. Can I do this? I'll try something. See, okay, yeah, that's okay. So we have a category vehicle ground. We can have a static var category vehicle air. Vehicle air fighter. Okay. So this gets used here. Vehicle, weapon, category. Weapon, air. And then living ground, which I don't. You know what? We don't need this right now. It's just not needed. I don't know if we need half this stuff. So we'll get rid of living ground. We're not dealing with living ground today. Living, environmental, expendable. We'll just do vehicle and weapon. Ground, air, not the sea. Own ship, good, neutral, bad. Weapon, air, missile, drone, fighter, bomber. Vehicle, ground. That looks fine. Okay. So then we need category, weapon, air. So that makes it a little bit easier to maintain. I've separated out the different enums into these static variables. I don't know why they can't be const, because I think that means someone can just come in like in another script and append this array, which blows my mind. Or I don't know what I'm doing, which is highly probable. All right. So if we get the correct match for kind and domain, we will use this array to perform a lookup, which means that the category value itself Am I dumb? Is this function even needed? The whole point of this function was to make a union type in C++, but there are no union types in Godot. So you're literally just saying, "Hey, do this." I think I'm being dumb. I'm being dumb. I'm dumb. This is all we needed. This whole time, this is all we needed. Son of a gun. All right. So I'm gonna not initialize these to anything. Let Godot do its thing. It's weird that, let's see, unknown, unknown, unknown. I want to use unknown because the whole point of these is for like sensor detection, radar detection. All right. So now we have our category types, which will help determine what shape of the vehicles we see in the display. So that means when a sensor detects something and we get this little red triangle doodad, that might become something else once we know something more specific about the track. And we can also verify that the enemies don't show up, but the tracks still do. And it does. Because part of this game is going to be like figuring out who's out there. There's stuff out there. Or maybe it'll be like, hey, here's everything out there, but before you fire on it, you need to figure out if it's good or bad before it fires on you. And that might be part of the whole like puzzle-ish part of this game is trying to figure out what your situation is in order to complete the mission. That kind of thing. All right, so that's good. That's cleaned up. Continuing on. So I have this type database script. I don't think this is a long-term solution because I don't know what the Godot way of doing stuff is yet. In all honesty, this might become more like a JSON file almost. Maybe just make it a giant text file that I load during game load. Check. Oh, my groceries are here. I apologize, whoever just popped in to see what's going on. I do appreciate you visiting, but I will be right back because I've got some perishables I need to put in the refrigerator. Also, I need to stop my cat from attacking me. All right, yeah, I hear you. Come on. Took care of the cat. Threw him out in the garage. Little twerp. All right, I think I am good now. So relax. Oh, did I accidentally hit a button? Sure did. But yeah, so I need to figure out how I want to handle all of this. I'm using scenes for the different types. that I want to support because I'm not an artist, and it was very easy for me to just come in and be like, "Hey, uh, let's see if I can show you an example." This is what our air track looks like. I have it set to like a unit length. So this is basically a diamond. So in the game, it's going to be like, hey, if you don't know exactly what's out there, but you know something is out there. All right, well, I know these are, they're red for one, so they're bad guys. And for two, they're diamonds, so they are aircraft. Now, I realize a diamond actually doesn't work because as soon as you rotate it, it's a square. And what if I say, hey, a square means it's on the ground, a diamond means it's in the air? Now you have no idea what's going on. But that's the general idea. And then once like your sensor capabilities as they grow or shrink will give you additional ability to determine what's out there. That's the idea anyway. So that's where all this is coming from. And it was easy enough for me to just build a couple of unit length polygons that I could scale to whatever size I need. So that's essentially our data types, or our, this is kind of like our textures at this point. So that's what this is currently, is a script that would load these into an entries variable, which is an array of dictionaries. And dictionaries is basically a variant type, I think. If I'm understanding this right. Because this would be like a string variant. Like if I wanted to... Oh, nope. Nested type collections are not supported. Okay, so I can't define it like that. So it's just an array of dictionaries for the time being, until I learn of a better way to manage all of this data. Because this is kind of going to become our database of everything. I just got to figure out how to manage it. My cat's back. What? What are you doing? Anyway. So type database I'm leaving alone for now. We have data models. I think I already went over this. I wanted to make sure all that's cleaned up. I'm able to use explicit types. Well, that looks good. We have scenes. We have game scenes. So we have dark fighter scene, enemy scene. So I'm thinking... I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have the scene folder and scripts folder for too much longer. SVG folder we actually don't need anymore. That was for mocking things up purposes. I will need to make sure that didn't just break anything. I don't think we're using our SVGs anywhere. Yeah, we're not. Let's see here. So I think getting the data correct first is the way to go. Let me make sure. What changes have I made so far? I've deleted some files, staged those. I don't want to... I guess I can look at my GitHub issues, see what we actually need to work on. So the big thing is going to be firing a weapon and using a weapon to deal damage to an enemy. Because when I'm playing this game, I need to come up with a way to select a target as an option to fire on. And from a gameplay perspective, especially like using a controller. I tested this actually. So using my controller here. Wait for it. Wait, what is that? Is there something else out there? What in the world? Is that a missile? What? I I have a missile just floating out there. Hmm, that's new. Okay, yeah, so I can steer with my controller. It seems I have lost the ability to control my cursor, so that's a bug. Let me fix that. Oh, I wonder if it's because I lost my commands. I do think I want to. I do think I still want to use a command API. Where would that be? Cursor.script maybe? It grabs the cursor data.position, which I don't know if that's correct. This is the problem. Like, I'm directly modifying the cursor here, which is not the same as cursor.position. Yeah, so I think that's what's happening. We are providing input into this X and Y axis, but the cursor has a position. So I think I just get rid of this. And this becomes cursor.position equals input dot. That's not right. That's not right. I need X and Y to modify the current state of the cursor. Because this would have been a command. So that's more like cursor position is plus equals. Can I do this? Or I bet I have to do this. Vector to cursor dot axis X, cursor dot axis Y, something like that. And at this point, I don't even know if I need these to be a part of the cursor, right? Can these just be variables? Something like that. First try. Ooh. The property axis X is not present. Oh. Why didn't you guys stop me? Anyone watching is an accomplice to any programming mistakes I make. Just saying. All right, there we go. We got a cursor. Oh, it's so slow. We're getting there. So anyway, as I was saying, I don't know how realistic I want to make this game where, like, you know, in a real aircraft display, you might have a cursor or a touch screen that jumps the cursor, and then you can, like, latch on to a track, and then this cursor will just stay following the track. And then you could hit a button to select that track as something to shoot at. Or do we be like, hey, I'm going to steer and point at something and shoot? But that's a problem too, because now you have a cluster of enemies and you don't know who you just shot at, right? So maybe the cursor stays. I definitely need to increase the speed. I don't know why it's so slow. Oh, maybe it's because I'm on a 4K display. Let's do 2,000 pixels per. No, that's not doing it. Is that actually faster? Is that the same speed? I think that is that the same speed? Is that a system that modifies? We have a system cursor motion. Oh, it's busted. Oh, yeah, okay. Right. I gotta figure out what I want to do. The way it was before with C++ is your data models were read only, which is great because you don't, like, as projects get more and more complex, it becomes more and more difficult to keep track of who has a reference to your data model, who is modifying it, and uh, the more nodes, displays, inputs, whatever is touching or modifying this data model, you get to a situation where in your game that you're making, you're playing around and then your character all of a sudden like blips or teleports or blows up or an animation kicks on, something, right? And you're like, "Whoa, what just happened?" "Oh, let me figure it out real quick." And you're like, "Oh, I know where it is. It's on the character script." And then you look into character script and it looks good. You put a breakpoint there. Everything's fine. What is going on? So then you spend hours, if not days, trying to track down this weird bug because something is modifying the state of your data. Whereas if you leave your data read only and then only provide one avenue for modifying the data, well, then anytime you need to figure out what's going wrong, you just go to that one spot where data, like a message is coming through that says, "Hey, your data needs to get modified." I probably should do that. It's just a little harder to do with Godot since everything is referenced and shared. That's what's happening here. We have a cursor data that also has like the command to modify the data built in. So that's why I have these systems. These systems are designed to take modifying state and apply it to the data inside a model. Hmm. I gotta figure out how to do it with Godot. I know. Do I use Godot's notification system? Is that the answer? How does that work? Is that just integers? Or can I pass in like data? Godot notification. Notification draw. These might just be flags. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so the notification system is just enumerations for you to handle. And this might be a blanket solution. So if you like send a notification, it goes to all the nodes versus targeted nodes. So maybe I still stick with the command pattern. The command pattern would look something like what I had before. Instead of using cursor data, I would create like a cursor command. Create a cursor command. We wouldn't do this. We would do something like this. Wouldn't do this. And then we would do Briarthorn dot command. command cursor. So then under the hood of command cursor, we would execute, and it would either update the data model directly or update like a component so that the system would run. I am realizing, at least for something like this, it might be simpler to just be like, hey, update the data model directly. The whole reason this used to be a loop was because we were using an entity component system, and so it could just grab the component off of entities to make changes. Ooh, actually, I might be wrong. Because we do want delta, because we need to know how much time. Doesn't get cursor return a data cursor of array, so I don't even need to do this, do I? Or is this just... This isn't casting. Okay, never mind. I'm just talking to myself. Don't mind me. I go crazy. I just don't know if I want the state of the cursor command to be on the cursor itself. So I'm not sure how. If I am a command, I'm going to push some state to be changed, or I'm going to modify a data model. One thing we used to do, I could define actions. Maybe I don't need this. Maybe this is too complicated. I just feel like if I don't address this now, this becomes an issue later. What are you doing? Hmm? What are you doing? I'm thinking I don't even need a system cursor. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Hmm. This isn't true. I will need a system for a cursor at some point. Because I want the cursor to be able to follow a target. I want to know where to find that logic, and that logic exists in system cursor. So we'll leave this alone for now. I think then under controller, we probably have to get rid of still trying to decide if I'm going to make these data models read only. The problem is, from a maintenance perspective, I have to write a bunch of functions for every field that I add to a data object. That doesn't sound like fun to me. Sounds like work. I really wish Godot had a way to return immutable data. I'm gonna I'm gonna see if there's any like tutorials or examples. Godot. Single flow mutable data. Well, I don't have that set up to do YouTube right now. Godot single flow mutable data. What's this? Hmm. I just want to see how others have done data. A lot about Godot is built to help people who don't want/know how to code. Most game engines have been moving in this direction for a long time. Godot just tackled it head on. All the various nodes are essentially micro-scripted objects with commonly used functions. This makes the engine easier to use for artists and makes it quicker to prototype for even experienced coders, but don't be fooled. Nodes are themselves just scripted objects. They are nice visual representations of object-oriented programming and a nice way to avoid reinventing the wheel for every project. Whether you use nodes or scripts for storing information is more a personal choice. If you are comfortable with scripting, many things are much easier to do that way, keeping track of a bunch of variables, etc. But things like timers, tween nodes, 2D lights, occlusion polygons are much easier to just add a fully functioning node and connect them to your logic with Godot's ability to autoload scripts, blah blah blah. I'm not working on blah blah blah. I'm getting a sense that I just gotta do whatever I want to do. So what I want to do would look something like so this is just cursor data. Wait, you shouldn't even have this. This shouldn't be a thing. Player entity cursor ID. Okay, so there's a cursor ID. So it's this way or it's going to be this way. Position equals Briarthorn dot model cursors dot get cursor Briarthorn dot cursor ID dot position. Or it wouldn't even be get cursor, it'd be model cursors dot get position. So that's read-only state from the data model for cursors. Any field I need to get off of an item in the data model, I would have to do so, and this would mean that I can't modify the value. Like, I would not be able to do this. This would have no impact on the state of the model. I think I just need to accept that this is what I want. And it's going to require a little bit more code writing. So if I did it this way, that means I would need a command. So this would go away. This would become function ready. We would need to track our cursor ID. Create cursor would return an ID. So I could do that. And then this just becomes, now it's not stored on Briarthorn, which I really don't want it to be. So this would update the position of the visual element. And also there's I don't know what it would look like yet, but there's probably a way to do signals and slots where we would say like, hey, on cursor position dot connect Briarthorn dot model cursors dot on cursor position, right? So we could do something like that. I have no idea what the API would look like. We'd also obviously pass in an ID. And then we'd have a function in here that would be like, hey, on cursor position, something like that, right? So then anytime the contents of the data model changes, we send a signal. And then we don't need this. We still need this because we want our cursor object to initialize a new cursor for the data model. We establish a position. So I got to figure out how to do that, which means position change signal needs to what? Be on the cursor itself. So is that our data? I don't want to do that. I want to do it like... How do you do a signal? Signal... Anyone? Anyone wanna help me out? How do you do a signal? Fine, I'll figure it out myself. $3.4. This is probably out of date. This is all from the editor's perspective. Seriously? Here we go. All right, signal health depleted. And then you call an emit. So do I have to define... Here we go. Old value, new value. Okay. This is what I need. Signal position changed. Signal position changed. Position. Right? Is that what I need? The signal position change is declared but never explicitly used in the class. So the way this is going to have to work. Maybe I don't do it here. And then how does this work? I can do a set x. Oh gosh, how does it? This is being done somewhere. Where did I do this? I'm assigning functions. Are there any that I do inline? No. Okay. don't know how to do this. I don't even know what this is called. Property modifiers. Godot. Property set get. Set value colon do the stuff. Set value colon do the stuff. Set value colon do the stuff. And the stuff is position changed dot emit x. Unexpected indent. What am I doing wrong? All right. When position is set on the data cursor, we emit position changed. Then in model cursor, can I have like an array of signals? Godot is making my design patterns I want to use difficult. All right. New approach. Time to ask AI. I've wasted too much time on this. I need an answer. I'm gonna see if something exists out there that is or that can do what I want, or maybe get some sense knocked into me. What is this? Model cursor. What else? Data cursor. Model data. Controller. And cursor.gd. I'm struggling with a problem. I'm coming from a C++ background where I could easily define data models that return immutable data for visual nodes to ingest. Then I would implement a command/action pattern to provide a mechanism for displays for visual nodes to pass state change to the data model. I also had a way to listen to when internal data was modified, so a receiving node could update its own properties accordingly. I'm trying to achieve this with Godot now, but I'm stuck on which direction I should take. Take a look at my model cursors.gd, data cursor.gd, controller.gd, and cursor.gd. What approach would you suggest? Does Godot have a best practice for separating data from nodes? We'll see what it says. Maybe it can give me a little bit of a jump start on what to think about. Of course it has bugs. I didn't finish implementing. Model cursors is a property, not a method. The signal connection is backwards. Gosh darn it. I don't want to look at my temporary code. GScript passes resource objects by reference. There's no const equivalent. The Godot convention for enforcing write only through commands is architectural discipline. Visual nodes have no setters for data objects. They only call read methods or subscribe to signals. Have no setters for data objects. Only systems and command processes call setters on resource object. Okay, so it's just saying, hey, anyone working on this code base agrees to do it this way. This mirrors your C++ immutable view returned by models pattern directly. Recommended flow. Your controller already does this correctly. The missing piece is that Briarthorn command needs a dispatch table or match on the command type that routes to the appropriate system. That and the signal wiring and cursor are the only things blocking the loop close. Yeah, okay, it got hung up on the fact that I wrote some code that isn't real because I was sketching. But yeah, so basically it has to be an agreement on me and anyone contributing to my code base, which I talk to regularly, that if I have a data model that returns a cursor, you are not allowed to modify it directly. Like, that just has to be a written agreement. Oh, this sucks so bad. This just has such a great way of introducing bugs. It's crazy. All right, so that's basically what it's boiling down to. So the cursor data object will have the signal. When it's updated, we'll emit the signal. We will, in the cursor object, we have an ID here. So we need a function to do, yeah, this is backwards. They're right. They're right. So here we would get the cursor that we just created, except I think right now it returns a reference. And I don't know if that's what we should be doing, you know? Where is it? Model cursor. So this creates a cursor, returns a reference, when really I could return this ID. So we can be like, hey, you should never take a reference to the data in the models. Create, here would be, this now becomes an integer. Here we would still get the cursor. Here you would get an array of cursors. I don't want that. I want to return an array of keys. Okay. So I can enforce some stuff. Like I said before, I could just say don't return a reference here. Instead, I could do func get position ID return cursors dot get ID dot position. This would enforce it in that manner because I assume this is returning a copy at this point, not like a reference to the position. The only other piece I'm not sure about is if I do it this way, how do I create a signal that you can connect to for this specific ID? So you would do like model cursor dot. It would almost be like get signal, like get. Something like that. Maybe I do that. Assuming I'm allowed to do this. So so I have the cursor data, which has the signal position changed. Here I would need get on position changed ID int. How do you return a... Can you return a signal? This all goes out the window if I can't do this. Godot return signal from function. Is that real? Or is that fake? Are you saying use capital S? Seems fake. Anyway, return cursors dot get ID dot position changed. Does this actually work? Model cursors is not a function. Oh, it's not. It's a member variable. That's right. Forgot. I changed. Okay. So now what are we doing with? Too few arguments for on cursor position. Really? Am I doing this wrong? I was doing it wrong. Oh my gosh, is this gonna work? If so, I think it'll be a little more verbose. The models will be a little more verbose. This would make everything read only. So get on position changed, cursor ID, connect. And this kind of works out because then I don't have to keep performing a cursor ID lookup. And if you do, you'll have to, verify that the cursor still exists in the data model. So we'll try this. So then what's missing? The controller. So now I need to create a command. And the command will apply state change to the model. It's the only way this works. Okay, so that's why that exists. So I can't do this here. Okay. So we don't need cursor data anymore. We have model cursors, create a cursor, assign it to cursor D. Then in here, command cursor dot ID equals briarthorn dot cursor ID. So now I need to create a command. So now I have data, models. We're gonna need commands. Commands. Okay. Um. Something like that, I think. Property model cursors is not present on the inferred type node, but may be present on a subtype. Warning treated as error. Is this a order of operations issue? Firethorn. Firethorn.model cursors. Property model cursors is not present on the inferred type node, but may be present on a subtype. So it doesn't know. Am I not allowed to do this? Maybe I need to do this. Could not parse singleton Briarthorn from briarthorn.gd. What? Is this do I need to reload? Oh. Okay, so maybe I just needed to reload Godot editor so this new class could know Briarthorn existed? I don't know. So this calls update on model cursors on self, so it'll take these property values to modify the internal state of the model. So that makes sense. Wow, it really doesn't like. If I hit play, what happens? What is this? Create cursor. Where am I? Briarthorn.gd. Inside ready. Okay, it doesn't like invalid access to property or key model cursors on a base object of type nil. Did you guys hear that snore? Okay. A cursor ID not declared in the current scope. Ooh, something's happening. Unable to write to main scene file and use locked permissions, something. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, this is getting annoying. Oh, I gotta refresh. Okay. Expected end of statement after expression found colon instead. Okay, Briarthorn command doesn't exist. That makes sense. So that one I need. Ooh, am I gonna have to? Does Godot let you do inheritance? This all goes out the window again if this doesn't work. The stupid C++ brain is making me think I can get away with a bunch of stuff that I probably can't. So I need to be able to do func command with the command base type. Oh no. Then the command base type I would call command dot execute and pass in Briarthorn. So I need a command type. All right, so I need to Godot. Yeah, doesn't Godot support like abstract classes now? At abstract. At abstract. So I just need this, right? So I need to create a root command type. All right, so this becomes command. It extends a. Is it even a resource? Do I just need an object? I can't tell when I need to use one or another. Base class for all other classes in the engine. All classes in the engine inherit from object. Each class may define new properties, methods, signals, etc. So why would I use a resource over an object? Resource is the base class for all Godot-specific resource types, serving primarily as data containers since they inherit from ref counted. Resources are reference counted and freed when no longer in use. They can also be nested within other resources. Save to disk. Okay, so save to disk. That makes sense. That's why you want data there. So then there's also ref counted. So what's the difference between ref counted and object? Object inherits from ref counted. Base class for reference counted objects. Base class resource and many other helper. Unlike other object types, ref counter keeps an internal reference counter so that they are automatically released when no longer in use. Ref counted instances caught in a cycle reference will not be freed automatically. An advanced variant type, all classes in the engine inherit from object. You can create new instances using object new in GDScript. To delete an object instance, call free. This is necessary. Okay. So objects are not reference counted. So I have to manage the memory for objects themselves. So if I want it to at least be reference counted, I need to do ref counted. So this will be called execute, and we'll take the Briarthorn type. I think that's it. So then I can have my other commands inherit this, extends command, and now I probably have to define a an override. Do I have to specify override? Do you override them? No, you just define the function and it's overridden. Okay. All right, so that makes sense then. So then this will basically read the model cursor command function. That looks good. So then in Briarthorn, that looks good. So we hit play. Dang it. Controller. We got to make sure all of this is behaving as expected. And then we also need to make sure the system is moving the cursor. System. Oh, this is wrong now. Because this iterates over cursor ID. This isn't right either. The method get cursor is not present on the inferred type model cursors, but maybe present on a subtype. What did I do wrong again? You know what? I'm gonna hit play anyway. All right, so we can step over. Oh, I didn't actually provide an input, so it's probably just gonna be 0. That's fine. So then if we step in, then step in, we hit our command, which will then go into update our model. And if that's working, we get our cursor, modify its values. Okay, cool. So then we keep going and see if we hit our system. I am not seeing our system getting hit. Okay, so cursor system is not getting picked up. So in Briarthorn, we should have a list of systems. Oh, okay, yes. So just because I've instantiated these doesn't mean they exist in the node tree, which means that their update functions aren't getting called. So the way we handle that is on ready. Oh, that's awkward. Model cursor doesn't get added, but I don't see the cursor system, so that's what's going on. Oh, I don't see the... It's just not here. Get them to swap by places, run up that road, run up that hill. First try. Ooh, that's awkward. The method get cursor is not present on model cursors. So what is it called? Get. Oh, wait a minute. I'm being foiled by my own implementation. System. Right. Because I need... So I need the axes and the speed to update the position. Oh. So awkward. Systems should be allowed to modify the state. Every corner, I find another issue with trying to do this. I think after this stream, I'm probably going to read up and watch some YouTube videos to see how other people go about tackling data. Cursor. So I want that to be updated. I gotta figure this out with cursor first before I can figure it out with more complex systems. So the easiest way to do this is to create a get cursor function that just returns the cursor. The problem is everyone else gets access to it too. I don't like that. I just don't like it. Model cursor. So I can have a get cursor. Dang it. I thought of something, then I realized I don't think that'll do what I want either. So we can get the cursor and then update its state here. But again, if I do this, this doesn't prevent anyone else from doing this too. If I do this, I might as well just get the list of cursors. So I guess let's do that. Let's provide, dang man. I don't think I was using that function anyway. So that would solve this problem. This becomes a data cursor once again. This is a cursor once again. And then I'm modifying its position, and then we will see if that works at least. Yeah, that works. Big surprise there. It's easy once you just give access to it to everyone. Yep. Alright, so that's working, and quite smoothly, I might say. So yeah, I'm thinking we're flying around pretty quickly, even we're just at a large scale, a large combat scale. We're flying around, we latch on, and then you can use like, I'm thinking we use left or right bumper to cycle through like a cluster of entities. You'll hit a button to select it for shooting, and then if you want to shoot, maybe there's another button, or you hold. Maybe it's a select and hold to like fire immediately kind of thing. Or if you want to select a bunch of targets, go bloop, bloop, bloop. And the scale that we would make this battlefield, you would have time to like make some decisions. Now, maybe we need to introduce some kind of pause feature. So like while you're doing this, you have a time to like make a decision. I don't know. Or maybe that's part of the difficulty, right? But we would make the battlefields like large enough that you would have time like, okay, these guys are 25,000 meters away. They're not firing on you until they get like 8,000 meters away. So you still have time. There's nothing happening yet. They're not near you. Like we zoom really in, you're flying at like 500 meters a second. So you could turn and fly around to give yourself more time. Like I basically did a radar pass here. So I got close enough to get a radar, but not close enough for them to fire on me. But I've got enemies all around. So now I've got to like start planning. So I turn this way so I give myself a chance to select, right? Once I have my enemies queued up, then it's time to engage. And so your different weapons might have different capabilities, which means you can't just shoot from your butt, or can you? So you would have to like turn to do that, shoot, and then maybe turn to get away, kind of situation. But I don't know if that's fun for a general user. That's why I wanted to at least get the missile stuff up and running to figure that out. And if you manage to destroy your enemies, maybe some little, I don't know, airdrops or goodies pop up and you gotta go fly and grab them. Or maybe you launch your collector drone to go fly and pick up items to bring it back to you, kind of thing, depending on what kind of class you're playing as. Cool. So, I mean, this will work for now. It does mean that anyone can get the cursors. So I'll still want to think about that. It might be, one thing I could actually do maybe is just combine the model with the logic, which, not super ideal from a separation of concerns, but if our game stays fairly straightforward, then, it's the model owns the data, and then the model could have a physics process, and now it's operating on its own data, and no one else gets access to the ability to modify it. Only it can modify itself. And it is driven by these commands that come in. And maybe it'll support multiple commands. I don't know if Godot... Does Godot support... Like, could I do something like... Is that allowed? Command has the same name as previously... Okay, so Godot might not support function overloading. Which, fair. I get it. Godot function overloading. Most common way to mimic overloading is optional arguments. Just check the different types that come through. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I could make this a base command and then check if it's a command cursor. Oh, if it's a command cursor, I need to update the current cursor axis. If it's a command latch, then I need to tell the cursor to follow the entity that was given to it. That kind of thing. But yeah. All right, so that's good for now. Let's make sure everything is formatted. Error definition out of order and briarthorn.gd. Sure. Okay. So I've made a good amount of changes today to get cursor model up and running. So I think I'm going to call it early here, get this stuff committed, pushed up. I will read up more on how Godot does data management and try and figure out what I would prefer our project to use. But I am leaning towards maybe combining these, either combining the systems with the data models, or... Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look and see. But my guess is I am probably trying to implement a more complex solution than most hobby developers are trying to do, which might mean I'm just overcomplicating things, which wouldn't be the first time I've done this. But we'll see. I'll have to think about it. All right, I am calling it here. My silent viewers, I appreciate you watching. If you're my friends, I will find out, and I will catch you later. See ya.